This is the final part 3 of this CFO COO partnership. And we're going to talk about execution intelligence and what to do to get there. What are the execution tactics and how do we evaluate the sustainable results? So welcome to the final part. You understand the strategic importance, you have the operating framework. Now comes a make or break moment, flawless execution that delivers measurable business results. This is where partnerships succeed or fail. Great frameworks mean nothing without disciplined execution. Today, we are covering the specific tactics, measurement strategies, and sustainability practices that turn CFO COO partnerships into competitive weapons. So let's make our transformation permanent. The 120-day execution sprint. This is what I call the partnership launch sprint. 4 focused 30-day phases that establish credibility, it creates momentum, and builds sustainable practices. So we'll break it down into 4 phases. Phase 1, days 1 to 30, I call it the immersion phase. The CFO and the CEO commit to intensive cross-functional training. The CFO spends minimum 8 to 10 hours in operations, manufacturing floors, service centers, customer sites, supplier meetings every week. COO spends equivalent time in finance, budget reviews, investor calls, financial planning sessions, board presentation. Document everything you learn. Create shared glossaries of operational and financial terms. Map processes that flow into one another. Show how operational activities drive financial outcomes. Build those relationship maps that identify key people in both organizations and then set up your communications backbone. Your weekly 30-minute tactical check-in, your monthly 90-minute operational financial reviews, and of course your quarterly half-day strategic planning sessions. Use standardized, simple agendas that balance operational performance with financial implications. Phase 2 is more on the days 31 to 60 part. The metrics integration phase, I call it. Build your shared dashboard that connects operational metrics to financial outcomes. Track integrated KPIs like revenue per operational employee, cash conversion efficiency, customer acquisition cost, including operational delivery, operational ROI by business unit. Implement joint variance analysis protocols. When actual performance differs from plan, examine both operational and financial causes simultaneously. Create those root cause analysis templates that force integrated thinking. Launch your first joint initiative. Pick something you can complete in 60 days that demonstrates amazing partnership value. Examples: working capital optimization, cost reduction without quality impact, or capacity utilization improvement. Now let's move to phase 3, 61 to 90 days, the planning integration phase. Synchronize your planning cycles completely. Operational capacity planning informs financial forecasting. Financial constraints shape operational priorities. So create scenario models that show how operational changes affect financial performance. Establish capital allocation protocols that balance operational needs with financial returns. Create investment criteria that include strategic importance, operational improvement potential, financial returns, and risk mitigation value. Let's move on to phase 4, days 91 to 120. The governance solidification phase, I call it. Implement joint decision-making structures for all the major business issues. Create escalation protocols that bring the CFOs and the CEOs tightly together quickly when problems arise. Establish executive comp alignment. Tie part of both leaders' incentives to shared operational financial metrics. This creates permanent behavior alignment that outlasts individual personalities. You should look at the measurement framework now. Successful partnerships require measurement, but you need metrics that capture both relationships, which are business relationships and business health relationships. Your comprehensive measurement framework would be looking at partnership performance indicators, communication frequency, quality, joint decision success rate, cross-functional project completion rates, shared problem resolution time. These measures how well you're working together. And you can also look at integrated business metrics like revenue per operational dollar invested maybe, operational efficiency impact on gross margins, cash to cash cycle optimization, and customer satisfaction driven by operational financial alignment. These measure business impact. The leading indicators, operational variance prediction accuracy, financial forecast reliability based on operational inputs, speed of operational financial decision making, and cross-functional knowledge transfer effectiveness. These predict future performance. There are also some risk management metrics you should be concerned about. Operational risk that impact on financial performance, financial constraint that impact on operational delivery, joint contingency plan effectiveness, and integrated scenario planning accuracy. These measure resilience. Create a single executive dashboard that updates monthly. Use clear visual indicators, charts, trends, traffic lights that show both current performance and directional movement. Include narrative sections that explain the stories behind the numbers. But most importantly, review this dashboard together every month. Joint review creates joint ownership and joint accountability. Use these sessions to identify improvement opportunities and course corrections. So now we move into this platform called the Sustainable Practices Systems. Building the partnership is one challenge. Sustaining it through leadership changes, and organizational evolution is another. Here's how to make your partnership permanent. Institutionalize your knowledge transfer. Create operational finance rotations where high potential finance employees spend 3 to 6 to 12 months in operations and vice versa. Establish financial operations rotations where operational leaders gain finance experience. Build shared expertise that strengthens partnership foundations. Develop joint leadership development programs. Send the CFO and the COO to shared training conferences and strategic planning sessions. Include both leaders' succession planning discussions. Create career paths that value cross-functional experience. Build partnership rituals that reinforce collaboration. Monthly joint facility tours are very important. Quarterly business reviews with integrated operational financial presentations, annual strategic planning, retreats that address operational and financial integration simultaneously. Create partnership documentation that captures lessons learned, best practices, and decision-making frameworks. This knowledge base helps onboard new leaders and maintains consistency through transitions. Establish partnership metrics as core business KPIs that get reported to boards and investors. When partnership performance becomes part of external accountability, it becomes permanent priority. Most importantly, celebrate joint wins publicly and specifically. When operational improvements drive financial results, recognize both teams' contributions. When financial discipline enables operational excellence, highlight the partnership that made it possible. So finally, consider crisis testing your partnership. Every partnership will go through a crisis. Great partnerships prove their value during this crisis. Here's how to stress test and strengthen your collaboration with the COO. Conduct your quarterly scenario planning exercises that simulate operational and financial crisis, supply chain disruptions, demand shocks, competitive threats, regulatory changes. Practice integrated response planning before you need it. Establish crisis communication protocols that activate immediately when problems emerge. Clear escalation paths, decision authority, and communication responsibilities. Test these protocols with tabletop exercises and real-time drills. Create contingency resource pools that can be deployed quickly when operational or financial pressures emerge. Pre-approved emergency budgets, cross-trained personnel, and flexible operational capacity can respond to unexpected demands. Build those partner redundancy by developing those multiple CFO-COO relationship points throughout both organizations. Strong partnerships should not depend on single relationships. They should be between leaders. They should exist at multiple organizational levels. Document crisis response procedures that combine operational and financial perspectives. Post-crisis analysis protocols that captures lessons learned and improved future response possibilities. That's the way I look at it, not finance, future. So how do you measure the success and the scaling impact? After 120 days, what do? You assess your partnership impact using 3 success criteria. You look at business performance. Are operational efficiency and financial performance improving together? Are you making better capital allocation decisions? Are you responding to market changes more effectively? If you look at organizational health, what are the questions that you ask? Are operational and financial teams communicating better? Are cross-functional projects succeeding more frequently? Are employees reporting higher job satisfaction in both their functions? What about strategic capability? Are you identifying growth opportunities faster? Are you managing risks more effectively? Are you building competitive advantages that competitors cannot easily replicate? If you're succeeding in all three dimensions, well, scale your partnership model to other functional relationships: CFO CTO, COO CMO, CFO CHRO. Create a culture of systematic cross-functional collaboration. But there are common pitfalls that you have to be aware of and how to avoid them. There are three mistakes that kill partnerships. First, rushing implementation without building foundational understanding. Invest in relationships before demanding results. Second, focusing on activities instead of outcomes. Measure business impact, not meeting frequency. And letting partnership depend on personal chemistry instead of systematic processes. Build institutional frameworks that outlast individual leaders. Remember, sustainable partnerships require both emotional intelligence and systematic discipline. Your transformation commitment. You have everything that you need for success. You have the business case in part 1. You have the framework in part 2. You have the execution plan and the measurement system in part 3. The only question is whether you will commit to disciplined execution. So start tomorrow. Schedule your first joint immersion session, create your integrated metrics dashboard, launch your 120-day partnership sprint. The companies that execute now will create lasting competitive advantages. And that is the primary thing that I want to share with you with the relationship with the Chief Operating Officer and how critical it is for long-term competitive advantages. Thank you so much. Bye.